When it comes to winning a championship in the NBA, that capability has been historically low when a team is building around a small guard, someone 6'3" and under. A majority of the time, the team construction revolves around making up for the player's strengths, with these players often being very talented offensively, but mediocre and even bad defensively. When you think of some of the best players to play the game of basketball that have been the best player on a championship team, they have a much more all-around skill set on both ends, which makes the meticulous process of team building require much less selectivity, whereas a small guard demands much more thought. The only small guards that you can without a doubt say were the best players on a championship team are Stephen Curry and Isiah Thomas. Throughout history, forwards and bigs have reigned supreme as some of the most sought-after players, from the Hakeem Olajuwons, Tim Duncans to LeBron James, and you can even go much further back to the 60s to Bill Russell. So why is it that small guards, especially in the modern NBA, are constantly referred to as not capable of being 1A players? This season we had Becky Hammond flat out say that Jalen Brunson was not a 1A and that he could not lead the Knicks to a championship simply because of his size. And it wasn't like she was completely met with backlash. Of course, Knicks fans had some words for her, but I also saw many in agreement with that opinion. Regardless of how well he was playing or how much he carried the team offensively, he wasn't being taken as seriously as other first option players. So what is it that separates some of the small guards of the modern NBA to a player such as Stephen Curry, who's proven multiple times as a small guard that he can lead a team? Well, one trait of many small guards of today's NBA is their heliocentric playstyle, where the offense lives and dies with that player's decisions. Players such as Damian Lillard when he was with the Blazers, Trae Young, and Jalen Brunson operate in an offense where they have the main responsibility of scoring and facilitating, to the point where the team is constantly looking to get the ball back into their hands for them to make a play. Steph Curry, on the other hand, is the best off-ball player of all time, he's the greatest shooter of all time, and this portability allows for him to fit on any team next to any star. But this isn't very fair to the other guards, is it? Is portability the only way to succeed as a guard? Is there truly no other way? Well, let's begin this journey to figure out how to build around this contentious archetype and discuss whether or not these traits can translate to a ring. The secondary playmaker comprises of a player that can play many roles on offense. They're the player that's capable of running the offense when the primary playmaker is off the floor, but their main role is to relieve the offensive burden when the primary playmaker is on the floor. Kyrie Irving is one of the players that comes to mind when you talk about a secondary playmaker, fully comfortable with playing on ball and making plays for others, but he's also become more of a play finisher next to Luka Doncic. He's a great off-ball player that can quickly receive the ball, dribble into traffic, make a good read, and doing this allows for Luka to not always be the main focus of the defense. When the defense knows they can key in on one player the whole game because they know that there's no other significant playmaker to worry about, the team just struggles just because no one outside of that one player can make a play. I think this is what happened with Luka Doncic before the Mavericks traded for Kyrie, the Hawks before they traded for DeJounte Murray, and having that secondary guy makes things a whole lot easier for the team. Versatile defenders. Unless they're an elite defender, which most small guards in the current NBA are not, the height of a small guard, being what it is already disadvantageous towards guarding quicker and more shifty players. Versatile defenders can help bring in that physicality and length to a lineup. When facing opposing teams with a star guard, using this defender in the point of attack allows for the small guard to not be forced to guard the other team's best player, and it also allows for them to potentially guard an immobile player, such as a player in the corner, with the goal of saving as much energy as possible to help contribute on offense. This is known as hiding a player on defense. Playing both sides of the ball, especially at a high level, can take a lot out of a player, and having someone capable of effectively defending smaller players to give you that time of rest is extremely reassuring, particularly in the playoffs where every minute counts. Isiah Thomas had Dennis Rodman, who excelled at defending the post and was a very aggressive and physical defender that gave it his all each and every possession of the game. Steph Curry had Draymond Green, who was tasked with guarding all 5 positions depending on the state of the game, and his high defensive IQ made his smaller frame basically insignificant due to his ability to guard larger players. Well, the players just referenced are widely known as some of the best defenders of all time, and getting access to that kind of help isn't very common. Some other versatile defenders in the current NBA are Jaden McDaniels, Alex Caruso, Jonathan Isaac, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Bam Adebayo. Before the Sixers drama, there was even Ben Simmons. I'm sure you already noticed the trend that most of these guys are wings. The wings mainly guard 1 through 3, with some 4 in there as well, while the bigs guard 3 through 5, but can hold their own well when defending the 1 and 2 guards. Despite this versatility though, it is impossible to completely hide a player on defense, as opposing offenses will make sure to drag them out, whether it's from forcing them to defend the screener and getting a switch from there, but these brief moments of rest these smaller guards can get are a relief to increasing their offensive expenditure. You want to surround these players with size and length, which allows for you to cover their weaknesses of being very small. The Swiss Army knife. The player that you can basically ask to do a little bit of anything. These are the Draymond Greens, the Aaron Gordons, the Josh Harts, the Derek Whites. I'll even throw Al Horford in there despite his age. They're versatile when it comes to the defensive side of the basketball. They can play make, though some more than others. Draymond is someone I'm fond of being in a main playmaker role, while Aaron Gordon is really a situational or spontaneous playmaker where specific situations may demand him to play this role. These type of players are frequently in teams' most favorable lineups and are game changers on the court. They're really there to just ease the burden placed on their teammates, ready to take a different role when the moment demands it. The prototypical dual-centered scoring mechanism, or I like to call it the two-man game. I don't even know exactly what I just said, but I'm sure you understand what I'm saying. I think one of the most important traits of a star player is the ability to skillfully play off of other players, and when building around a small guard, you need to remember that they can't do everything by themselves offensively, so having that other guy that can reliably work within the flow of the offense does wonders for the team's overall consistency. Think of Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic running handoff actions at the top of the key, then turning the defense as Jokic rolls and Murray has room to take a 3 and get to the basket, or give the ball back to Jokic, who's an amazing decision maker. Think of Steph Curry and Draymond, where Draymond will operate in the high post area or near the top of the key, while Steph runs through split actions and gets his defenders to chase him for consecutive possessions. When I think of a duo that suffered from not having a two-man game in the league today, Trae Young and DeJounte Murray comes to mind. Playing this you go, I go type of basketball just isn't a reliable way to consistently produce offense, and it's a large reason that they traded DeJounte Murray. Can you really call it a duo if they do everything individually? These are things that help with keeping continuity and stability within the flow of the offense. The two-man game can also include a vertical lob threat, preferably a big, who can set hard screens and operate in the short roll if they can't get wide open at the basket, which allows for more options out of the pick and roll. A lot of people say that it's not worth building around a small guard. I for one am against this opinion because even if it is difficult, I believe that things are only thought to be nearly impossible until they're done. With all the talented guards that have entered the league over the last few seasons, maybe within the next decade, there'll be that player that breaks free from this narrative, from this mold, proves that they're capable, and that they can lead a team to the promised land. If you enjoyed the video, Leave some thoughts down below, leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.